Hello again, and thank you for watching another episode of It Gets Butter. In this episode, I talked to my best frenemy, Steve Miller. He talks about a real hard time in his life where he lost a close friend. So we dive into that. We talk about his comfort food, something from his childhood, from his mom, and then I tell him why he's wrong, and that's not his comfort food. This is not going to be a recurring theme, but it definitely happens again where my guest is wrong about their comfort food, and I have to tell them why. Also, in this episode, you'll get to hear Steve Miller implode and just argue with himself, which is beautiful. But it's a really insightful episode. I got to learn a lot about Steve. I can't wait to try his mother's soup. That is his recipe. I hope you all enjoy it. I'll put the recipe in the description as always. And let's get right into another episode of It Gets Butter. Let's go ahead and start the episode. That's how we like to do things here. We are back with another episode of It Gets Butter. Thank you very much for joining us again. If you've done it, this is your second episode. Quite exciting. There's little nuances changed. We have one of my best friends as the guest today. He has agreed to do the podcast under false pretenses, but he is here. I would say if snark was a language, it would be our love language. He is my favorite frenemy to have, my good friend, Steve Miller. Hello, Steve Miller.
Jeff, it's a pleasure to be here, man. Super excited to be the second guest. Little disappointed to find out I'm the second guest after you texted me, brought me in under the ruse of being the first guest. So
things change in the industry. You got to stay up with the industry. I sent out a memo. It was in the notes.
You did send a bunch of notes, like a bunch of really unsettling professional notes that I didn't care for at all. It was all way too actually professional and polished. So I assume that Matt did them.
No, I did them all myself, and I stole them from other podcasts I've done.
Excellent.
Thank you. Other people are professionals, not me.
Like most of your jokes. Okay.
So, Steve Miller, first of all, I know you through comedy.
Sure.
You have been a comedy Sherpa of mine, let's say. I look at what your career could have been and said, I can actually do that.
Yeah, much like Sherpas, eventually the climber surpasses you.
But tell us more about you. Tell us what you do for a living now and what kind of your dream gig would be.
Sure. So I started comedy later in life. I started comedy at like 34 years old. And I waited so long to do it because I thought comedy and being funny was something that I was actually good at, that I was actually proficient at, that I was naturally gifted in. And I was so scared of trying to do comedy and finding out that I wasn't good at it, that would have like just shattered my ego too much. That and just fear and being instilled by an immigrant mother and a son of my father was raised during the Great Depression, an older guy. So like money and security were super important. So it took me a long time to come around to get into doing stand-up comedy. And so I came to it later in life, and then I was very excited because things were going really well in my career prior to meeting and hanging out with you. And it was like 2019. At the end of 2019, I quit my day job. So I was in digital marketing at that point. I quit my day job. My calendar was full. I had a lot of really exciting opportunities come up. And then, of course, COVID happens in 2020. At the start of 2020, the comedy calendar just blows up,
right.
Completely disappears. And I've quit my day job. Now I have no income. So I scrambled and just went back to work like crazy. Did that. And then as the world started opening back up again and opportunities started coming back up again, then I got cancer, which was super cool. So I'd been out of comedy for a while. I still do shows, like maybe about once a month or so, not nearly as much
right.
as I was doing. I'm not doing the road nearly as much. This is a really long-winded answer to your question, but I'm just trying to give you a little bit of background as to who I am. So currently what I'm doing is an actual day job. What I wound up going back to after comedy sort of fell away from me for a while was I spent my first 15 years as a professional doing video production work. So everything from pre, post, to production, all points in between. And then I transitioned into digital marketing. And right now I'm sort of a content director or creative director for an ad agency based in Tampa.
Okay, nice. And then, and some people know, some people don't know, you actually were the director of photography and really helped get my special shot and out there and done. I mean, I mean, I did all the editing on it, but you really did.
Yeah.
I mean, you and I worked very well together on creating the angles, creating the shots for over two shows. I thought it was really good.
I think the material is fantastic. I think the material is probably even better than the production, and I think we did. I had a great time doing it. I was excited that you asked me, and I think we only made one mistake, which was not taping the audio for the first show.
Tiny mistake, which maybe has been the biggest setback on it. But who's paying attention to those things?
So we had a Zoom recorder set to record the set. Yep.
Yeah.
And Chia, a friend of ours, set the recorder up. He had never used one before. And on a Zoom recorder, you got to press record twice.
Yeah.
And it's no shade to Chia. He put it down. He did everything that I asked him to do. and then at the end, no audio from that particular audio device was captured, which was the main audio recorder. So that's a ringing endorsement for my skills as a director. Well, so if you're looking for work.
The other fun thing that we had there was we had thought out, and we had gone there a couple days, like multiple times prior, framed out how we wanted everything shot for it, and then between us we have plenty of gear and equipment, and we showed up with all the gear that we would need, and then ran from the microphone directly to their board, because it's a professional theater company that has a board, and then they did not have the right output from that board.
Yeah.
And so then it was like, okay, well, before next week and we shoot again, let's just order that one cable that's going to make a massive difference.
Yeah, a huge difference. That really was one of those moments where you're just so grateful that you did that walkthrough ahead of time, that you took a little bit of extra time on pre-production. Because it's like, of course, we're going to hook into the board. You do it all the time. When you go to a club, you hook into the board.
Everybody has the same connections, except one. What would you say is your relationship with food? I mean, when you're done chewing, at your own time.
You're going to put out a charcuterie board.
Again, I love the camera can't see the charcuterie board, but for the first 2 episodes, I've continued to put out a charcuterie board with crunchy things on it, which may be the stupidest idea for a podcast. That's a quality charcuterie board. That's a Publix bought me-made charcuterie board.
Yeah, Publix has gotten to that point, too, where it's sort of like Erewhon now.
Oh,
like, ooh, shopping at Publix.
I know.
Look at you, fancy.
Listen, groceries for us at the house is Aldi, but for my guests, these are Publix cheeses.
Yes.
They're not Boar's Head. They are Publix cheeses, but still.
So my relationship with food is completely fucked, to be honest with you. And as anybody that's watching the video can tell.
If we could get a tight shot on...
Right in this region, that would be great. I had to lower the seat on this chair because I figured when I sat down on it, it would raise, and I figured slowly over time it would just naturally go down. So I figured I'm going to beat that embarrassment to the punch and just lower it down. Food for me, I shouldn't say us, was both comfort and also celebration.
Okay.
So, you had a bad day. Let's go get you some ice cream.
Right.
Let's get you a little treat. Oh, you had a great day. We should celebrate. So food became sort of central in my life, and I got a really janky relationship with food. When I'm 50, I just turned 50, and when I was 40, I quit drinking. It wound up just being a 3.5-year break off of alcohol, but I got to that age where a lot of people start reassessing their life, and so I had a lot of friends that were quitting drinking, and it's like realizing they had a bad relationship with it. And most of those people that I knew that quit drinking just lost weight, Okay. And so I said to myself, I got to lose weight. I got to get healthy. I got to quit drinking because, look, drinking is leading to all these other bad decisions, and it's a great way for me to lose weight. So the deal I made with myself was I'm going to quit drinking for a year or until I lose 50 pounds, whichever comes first, so that I want to quit drinking for 3.5 years.
Right.
I put on weight all during that time.
Right.
And that's when I realized the difficulty that I have with food was way more complex than the difficulty that I had with alcohol.
Right.
Because I would leave shows. I have a vivid memory of being at the Miami Improv back when they had that room. And I was newly sober. I still smoked weed. I still did mushrooms, but, I didn't drink.
California sober.
Yeah. And I left the show. Show was great. And typically what I do at that point is I would just stay at the bar, drink, hang out with people. But I didn't want to be around it because I didn't want to. I didn't know how, at that point. I didn't know how to behave without alcohol in a public situation.
Right.
So I went out looking for a milkshake because I'm like, I gotta give myself a little treat. Give myself a little treat. And I went up because it was late at night. I went up driving all around for 45 minutes. Couldn't find anything.
I love the commitment to the milkshake, though.
Yeah, but that was one of those. I had two realizations. That was one of the first ones where I was like, oh my God, this is crazy behavior. You know what I mean? This is not normal. Because now it's 1:30 in the morning. The show's way over. I'm driving around town I really don't know too much about. I haven't spent too much time in Miami. So, of course, I wound up, I couldn't ever find a milkshake, so I bought a carton of ice cream and just went back to the hotel and ate that. And then the other moment that I realized it was problematic was during the pandemic, actually during 2020. And my girlfriend had left the house to go hang out with her brother. And I thought to myself, I'm going to get some ice cream. And I'd been getting ice cream every night. I'm scared. The world's falling apart. I'm going to eat ice cream. And I drove to Wawa to get ice cream. And I remember walking to my car thinking, I don't even want ice cream. I'm not hungry. It's not going to do anything for me. Having this but I just kept going. I went and did the thing and ate the ice cream. And it was those two moments in my life were the first time I sort of understood addiction and understood how.
I was going to say, that's real addictive behavior to it. So that's a way to look at it. Yeah.
And that's, and all this stuff sort of ties back to some sort of familial process of dealing with grief, tension, joy, and celebration. Everything was surrounding food.
Right.
So my relationship with food is fraught. I love cooking. It's one of my favorite things to do. I love cooking for my family and for my friends. It brings me great joy to create something for them. I could never do it as a profession.
How much ice cream do you eat while you're cooking your dinners?
I normally drink while I cook.
Do you just have a side of ice cream going while you're making chili, you're stirring and scooping?
I haven't in the past, but that's a great idea.
It's not a great idea. We just talked about that.
Oh, that's right.
All I picture is when you were looking for the milkshake and you couldn't find it and you got ice cream. And you're happy from the show, but you're sad about not getting.
Sure.
I just picture you back in the hotel room, which are usually sad hotel rooms that we get.
Yeah, always.
And you putting it in your mouth and just shaking your head to make your own milkshakes. Just my own milkshake. That was my mental image during that.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
But I think some people don't understand, and I know that's why some comics really hit the gym very hard. I always try to remind these comics that they're stand-up comics, not Marvel superheroes. Bring it down a notch. I don't know if you've seen.
It's their problem, not ours.
I don't know if you've seen
shouldn't be doing that.
Paul Hooper and Jay Jordan right now. We don't need the shirtless pics anymore. We get it. You guys have abs. You're funny too. Stop it.
I'm proud of you.
It's too much.
Yeah.
But people don't understand. I don't think that there is in the community that we're in the lifestyle that we're in, doing comedy. You're getting to clubs. Late. It's late work. You're getting off late. The option of healthy food isn't really there. That's fatty foods that are related with all of this. Yep. There's drinking related with it. So for comedians, it's very easy to be in a habit of drinking after a show, grabbing drinks. And then when you replace that, the next handy thing is not the healthiest of foods. And that lifestyle is hard to, if you don't have it set up, hard to lend itself to. I got to wake up early and hit the gym to make up for that crappy stuff I did last night, because you're going to bed at 2, 3 a.m. and we aren't in the habit, I'll speak for both of us, of being like, well, I should get up at 5 and go 5. I'm sure the hotel has a gym I can use. That's a sentence I've never said.
Right. Almost every hotel I've ever stayed at on the road had a gym.
I'm sure they do. I've never looked for it.
I've almost seen none of them. No, it is. It's a challenge, but it becomes this moment where it's like you're an adult and you have to take care of yourself. So it's like, yes, everything you just said is completely true. But also with a little bit of preparation, because I've also been on the road with comics that are incredibly healthy, that do work out all the time.
I know people do have created that routine.
Yeah, and I'm amazed by it. You hop in the car with somebody and you're going to go do a run with them, and they have a cooler packed with healthy snacks and food and everything, and I'm like, look at this guy doing it, And it's the same way with drinking too. I remember I was probably 6-7 years into comedy or something like that. Maybe a little less. I was on the road. I was in Charlotte, North Carolina. I was middling with this comic, and I was just drinking after the show, getting after it. And he looks at me, he's having some drinks too.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh yeah, I remember when I used to give my feature check back to the club and booze." And I'm like, "Oh yeah." And then you look at it and you start doing the money and doing everything. You're like, "Oh, I'm not making anything doing this. I'm giving it all back to the club."
That is, and then there's also a point of, I worked with somebody many, many times ago. I was featuring and I brought a friend in as a guest spot and he got free drinks at the bar.
Oh, good.
And I was given free drinks at the bar too. I had one beer. Thank you very much. I tipped on it.
Yeah.
He got wasted because he's free drinks. I'm not going to pass up free drinks.
Yeah.
And I told him, I pulled him aside after drink 3. I said, first of all, tip on all your drinks because you're not paying for them.
Yep.
2, you want to be booked back here, right? Like, don't look at this as this is a one-shot opportunity. Look at this as this is a beginning of opportunities. And I still need to be a professional at the end of it. I think that gets lost a lot.
It does.
Because of the accessibility we have.
It's a job.
Yeah.
It's, the old owner of Side Splitters used to say all the time, it's show business.
Yeah.
It's the other half of it is business. And that got ingrained to me pretty early on. And it is true. Like, you show up drunk, show up late, drink up the whole bar.
It happens way more. I think it's somewhat changing in the industry, but I think it is still a hard part of the industry for us.
So hard being a comic. We're really, really brave people. Really brave people.
Not all heroes wear capes. So we want to talk about your comfort food. So you had talked about your relationship with food, and it's celebratory, and it's fear-based. It's your comfort of, and your go-to was food. Do you think that is a family thing? Do you think that is a cultural thing? Do you think, where does that come from for you?
It's a great question, and it's one that I should be dealing with more than I am, to be honest with you. I think it's familial, but it could also be cultural. And the reason why I'm unsure is my mother was Panamanian.
Right.
My father met her while he was stationed in Panama. So I grew up with a Panamanian mother, and I grew up with all of her, traditions and culture, but not in the culture. You know what I mean? So I can't speak to, is it cultural or not? I don't know.
Right.
Because, all of her family still lives in Panama. So all of my extended family lives in Panama. And so I grew up just in American culture.
Right.
Or whatever that means, whatever version of that. I do think, for me, so I can say confidently that it's definitely family-based.
Okay.
Most of my siblings have a tortured relationship with food, both good and bad, So yeah, for me, it's absolutely familial.
So I had to go to Matt on how to actually pronounce the comfort dish that is your comfort dish, but I will let you pronounce it. Tell us what is your favorite comfort food.
Absolutely.
By the way, as a side note, just for everybody, throughout the episodes, Matt is in the room. He's my man in the chair. Which he's literally in a chair, as you can see.
I can't see.
Anything that needs to be disputed, looked up, he has his laptop up and ready, and he will let us know the answer.
You know what I like about that is instinctually, because I'm around comics so much, I assume that Matt is there to shit on the guest and back you up, because that's what any other comic would do. But I also know your relationship, so I feel like he would back me up if you're wrong. So I feel pretty comfortable.
He'll go with facts.
Yeah, so my comfort dish, actually, I am not going to tell you what it's called until you take an attempt at saying what it is.
Yes. So I'm going to try. So I would say Sancocho.
You got it, bro.
Is what I would say.
Sancocho.
All right.
Yeah. I'm disappointed. I was hoping you'd be a lot more racist. I was hoping you'd hit like a Hispanic guy. Sancocho.
No. Also, that sounded a bit Asian, I'm going to be honest with you.
I'm a man of a million voices. None of them are correct. All of them are wrong.
So this is a Panamanian soup.
It's not just Panamanian. It's through Hispanic culture. It's essentially a chicken soup.
Okay.
So it's got a chicken broth. It's got big pieces of chicken and potato in it. Some recipes have corn. I think the recipe I sent you had corn.
It does, yes.
Yeah. This was something that it's comforting to me, not only in the act of eating it, but in the act of knowing that it exists in this world.
Okay.
It's something that my mother would make when she had the time or the ability, because she essentially raised 4 children by herself. My father was around, but not around. He was either in law school or someplace else doing something else.
Okay.
He loved us as much as he could, blah, blah, blah. So she worked a full-time job, raising 4 kids. So more often than not when we were sick, it was, soup out of a can, here you go, and some ginger ale.
Sure.
And she certainly cared, and toast and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But when there was time, she would make that.
First of all, I love your qualification on her caring was adding toast to the mix. You were like, if you were sick, she's busy, here's soup out of a can, some ginger ale, blah, blah, blah. She cared. She added toast. I was like, that was the qualifier?
Well, I felt bad.
It was better than just bread. She took the time, people.
Yeah. She buttered it. She
took the time.
I felt so bad saying, because it makes her sound like that she wasn't there or present. Because here's soup out of a can and a can of ginger ale. Go at it,
Yeah,
kid.
we qualified she was busy, 4 kids, and working a full-time job. Sure.
Yeah. So I felt compelled to be like, but you also made toast
But also
too,
toast, guys. Let's give her the benefit of the doubt here.
So more often than not, that was a thing for us when we were sick and weren't feeling well. But that being said, when there was time, she would make this, and it's always just been. There's so much flavor in it, and there's so much love that gets put into it, and it's simple, but everything tastes amazing, and so it reminds me of my mom, and excuse me, and how much she cared, and how hard she worked for all of us, and it also tastes amazing. So It serves 2 things. So it's not something that I eat regularly, and it's something that I have very infrequently, and but just thinking about it. It's a source of great comfort.
And I'm going to add the recipe. Obviously, I'm always adding the recipe so people can try it themselves. And at some point, I'll be trying it myself. Is this a lot of soups the next day?
Oh, it's the next day.
Okay.
It's the next day.
I mean, you obviously, there's day of. There's day of soup. You have to. But next day soup is when all of those flavors have hit.
Bro. Yeah.
I'm going to get you to pronounce a couple more words on here for me.
Sure.
Because the recipe you sent did test me as the Caucasian I am. First of all, I did a little bit of research on this, and by that I mean Matt asked me the name of it, and he looked up some stuff and read things out loud.
That's the job of the man in the chair.
I mean, research done.
Yeah.
But this is ironically also known as a hangover soup.
That makes sense.
She was training you your whole life for that.
Sure. Well, my family not only loves food, we love the boozerino.
And also toast.
Yeah. Big fans of toast.
So culantro is what they use instead of cilantro.
Yep.
Which is recao is another word for it. Does any of that sound familiar to you?
Nope.
You're doing great. And then
it's not my fault. You did the research.
The name of the yam that they used is a ñame. It has. I'm going to show it to you.
Show me.
N with a.
Oh, because to be clear, the recipe I sent you.
Yeah,
it's
not
just
your
an
mom's. I get that.
approximation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So it's not going to turn much because we're hooked to the camera. But that word right there, it's spelled like name, but it has the N symbol over top of it.
Are you messing with me right now?
What is?
Right in parentheses next to it, it says yam.
Yeah, I get, but that's not how you. That's not how you say the word.
You never heard of a yam?
No, I get it, but that's not how you say.
You've never heard of a yam?
How do you say that word?
It's a yam.
But how do you say that word?
I don't need to say that word. I'll say the English word. I'm also not going to use the Spanish word for soup. I'm also going to use the Spanish word for chicken.
How do you say the word? Ñame. Ñame.
Okay, now do the rest of the ingredients in Spanish too, because apparently that's the game you're playing.
Yeah, 1 to 2 ears of maize. You're welcome. Nailed it. All right, and we'll move on from that. All right, other than reading that recipe in Spanish, let's talk about when was the last time you had that dish?
Dude, so my mom died about 9 years ago, so probably 10, 11 years ago. I haven't had it since, and when you asked me what my comfort food was, because almost all food is comfort food for me, I had to sit down and really think about it. And I probably overthought it, to be honest with you.
That sounds about right.
I'm a neurotic. And then it also brought up all sorts of weird guilt and shame because you asked for a recipe. And I'm like, oh, I don't know the recipe for this at all. I have no idea how to make it. I don't know what goes into it. So then I Googled it, and I found, and they're all approximations, all pretty close. My mom's didn't have any corn in it, but who knows? And then I was like, just spun out over it because I'm like, oh man, I don't know. I haven't had it in forever. I'll never have it again the way that my mom used to make it. And I don't even know what the recipe is.
Right.
And so I haven't had it in forever, to answer your question specifically. And I'll probably never have it again.
Well, that's very sad. Because I was just my next question was like, would it so?
Thanks for tuning into the comedy podcast.
Not to make it sadder, but doesn't that? I mean, don't you want to share? Since it's such a memory of yours. Mm-hmm. Don't you want to share that with your current family?
Sure.
It sounded weird to say current family when I said it.
I can't wait for my next family. Current family is not getting any of it. I plan on leaving them when I'm 65, and I'll get a whole other family.
And I really like them. So the second I said current did make me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, obviously, it's something that it's something that I would love to share with them. But I think like this is what I'm talking about by like overthinking it, and like putting too much thought into it, and having such a strong emotional connection to it, and is the fact that what I want is not this bowl of soup.
Right.
It's I want this bowl of soup that my mom made.
Okay, that's fair.
You know what I mean?
So would you also venture the guess to say that your current? I mean, this is based on our conversation in the last 24 minutes.
Sure.
Your current comfort food is ice cream.
Yeah.
Like if you're down, if you
for sure,
if you are in any type of mood, your go-to to get out of that, or to feel, it's not going to get you out of it necessarily. Sometimes they don't. It's just it's just the warm blanket that it's going to be.
Yeah.
Is ice cream for you?
Yeah. So what I'm realizing now, as we move through this conversation, is that I miss my mom tremendously.
Fair.
You know, and that I completely overthought the assignment. But I think what you just said is correct. Like when I'm looking for a comfort food, it is 100% ice cream.
Right.
And you got to go with Jenny's. Get out of here, Ben and Jerry. Love your politics, but Jenny's is beating you in the game.
What is Jenny's?
Jennis. Jenny's ice cream.
I've never had it, and I'm not being petulant about
it's
that.
Now available at Publix and Whole Foods.
Who goes to Publix?
It's
you got Whole Foods money?
Yeah. Well, for the ice cream I do. Is it $8 a pint? Yes. Do I always feel guilty when I buy it? Absolutely. Am I going to keep asking myself questions? Sure. They also have a retail storefront down by Armature Works in Tampa, which is fantastic.
Right.
But then on the savory side, so if I'm just going I've mucked up your whole concept here.
No,
if I'm just going
you're my first guess.
Sweet's definitely ice cream. Okay, that's my comfort food.
Yes.
Ice cream. But if I'm going savory side, it's a sage heavy sausage stuffing out of the turkey.
Okay. These
things are phenomenal.
So something that you can just throw together.
Yeah.
Just simple something. I get home from a bad day at work. Babe,
I'm going to defrost the turkey.
Babe, take out the turkey. I've had a shitty day at work.
I'm going to brine it for a couple hours to get it ready.
I'm going to dice up some apples.
Yeah, we're going to get rolling here.
Have you left the bread out for 2 days? I need it stale. Yeah.
And this morning at 4 o'clock in the morning, we're going to have some comfort food.
Everybody get together. I'm not feeling well. That is a harder one in the moment. So,
yeah, for sure.
So even in that moment, you would just be like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll just go get ice cream.
Right. Yeah.
That's interesting. The sage stuffing. And thank you for qualifying. We literally just had this conversation with somebody who it was breaking their brain to hear that it's called dressing when it's cooked outside of the turkey, and it's stuffing when it's cooked inside the turkey.
You know, I didn't know what the difference was.
Did you?
I did not know that.
So that's the difference.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. I don't know why it would break somebody's brain. It seems pretty straightforward.
Well, it broke their brain because she just kept staring at us saying, but there's stovetop stuffing. And it's like, well, stovetop can't sell dressing in a box because there's already dressing that exists.
Newman has the corner of the market.
Yes. Yeah. Only Newman, not Kraft or anything else.
No, never. Not familiar. That's
never
not
heard
a comfort food.
Never heard
Anything in that aisle is not a comfort food.
But yeah.
Radicchio. If you have some asshole on this show that says Radicchio salad is their comfort food, fuck them.
I will tell you, we had our Mocksgiving last night that we went to.
Just like a dry run?
We just want to make sure everything gets done right.
Yeah.
And we went around the table asking comfort foods, and somebody's comfort food was buttered toast dipped in tea.
Dude, yeah.
It made me sad to hear that, but you're connecting with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Is that back to a childhood thing?
Food, but
I feel like every food is going to be a comfort food at this point, but go on.
Yes, everything you say. I had some Clams Casino. Love Clams Casino. Huge fan. No, but my mom would make tea when I was sick as well.
Okay.
And so very much dipping toast into tea, for sure. Yeah.
Because as we know, she was big on toast.
Yes, and the whole family was.
If we know anything about your mom.
Yeah, my love for my mother is rooted in overly warmed bread.
Okay, so that tells us about your comfort foods.
I think this also says a lot about my relationship with food.
I think we've really hammered that one
You like
home.
that? That's a comfort food. That's a comfort food. That's a comfort food. Salad dressing, not a comfort food. That's a comfort food. That's a comfort food.
And it sounds like you need a lot of comfort in your life.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah.
So let's talk about, I had asked you to think about, and let's talk about a hard time you personally have gone through.
Sure.
And so we're going to talk about the hard time you've gone through. We're going to talk about how you got through it, if you're still going through it, all of that. And the point of this, I think, is for anybody listening to this, to hear other people going through stuff.
Of course.
Because I think, in general, we as a society, as people, it's so easy to isolate yourself and think you are unique.
Yeah.
And here, it's a weird thing to say that. I don't want to say, like, not everybody's unique. But one thing, like, we learn in comedy, and I'll relate this to comedy for us and stand-up, is the moment you stop thinking your ideas are unique and you start saying them on stage and you realize everybody can, or a majority of people can relate to them,
Yeah.
you start connecting with the audience more because you're speaking kind of truth and that it's creating a connection type thing. And so it's a weird thing, kind of anti what we're taught growing up. Every child's unique, every child's special. We're not all that unique. We're not all that special. We have a lot of shared experiences.
Yeah.
And so one thing I think that will be helpful is hearing other people's.
Yeah, so I think that's well said. I don't think that the two things are mutually exclusive. I don't think that they're in opposition. I think that we can be unique individuals and human beings and also have a shared experience, shared understanding.
Sure.
Absolutely. So the question of of a tough time, how you got through, there you go. Get that cracker, bro. Perfect. Beautiful timing. Beautiful timing.
Go on. Go on.
Like a regular Charlie Rose. I heard that he always kept fish dip on set for the tougher interviews. So
I've been waiting for that question. All right, go on.
So good. Yeah, I definitely jumped the gun like immediately as soon as there was a pause. I ate a cracker. So I was so desperate to get to it and just talk about the fact that there's crackers on the table during a podcast. You timed it better. When I was 29, my best friend was murdered at a show in Ybor City at a metal band called Corrosion of Conformity. He was stabbed and he died. And I was here in St. Pete. I was at the Emerald drinking. I was drunk out of my head.
You were at the Emerald.
Yeah, exactly. That's not a sober place. And some time in my life, I remember standing on top of a bar stool, just doing the whole thing. And that was the first moment in my life that I really experienced grief and real hard time.
Okay.
I was very lucky. I referenced the fact that my dad wasn't always as present as maybe other father figures, but I knew that he loved me, And when he wasn't present, it wasn't like he had left the family. He was out working and doing stuff.
Right.
So I was blessed, and I knew this guy from fourth grade is when we first met. And we were close from high school on. We moved into our first apartment the day he turned 18, which was 10 days after I turned 18. And from that point until his death, I probably lived with him 60% of my life, of those 10, 11 years.
Okay.
We traveled. We lived in Denver together. We went to San Francisco together. We traveled all across the country together. And I had never experienced loss like that. And it was so hard and so jarring. And I was working in hospitality mostly at the time at a bar. No, I was producing pornography. But I had been working at a bar recently, And so anyways, a lot of my friends at that time were, we were all drinkers, we were all parties, we were all having a good time. So a lot of my friend group were drinking a lot.
Sure.
Which is understandable. There's no judgment to any of that. I found it difficult to be around alcohol at that time because I found it, I remember being at a memorial for him. His name was Tommy. remember being at a memorial for him, and this guy came up to us, a mutual friend, and he was very drunk, and he meant very well. And he just goes, "Oh man, you must be going through a tough time." I'm like, "Yeah, it's a hard time. It's a very hard time. Appreciate thank you for coming." He's like, "No, like you lost your brother." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. Yeah, you know." He's like, "No, man, like you lost your brother. Like you guys are really close." And I'm like, "I know." And all of that was out of love. He was trying to reach out and connect to me and say that I'm here for you, and it's really hard. And I'm giving him nothing because I don't want it. I don't want to give him anything. I'm angry. I'm pissed off.
Right.
And now I'm more pissed off that you're drunk here. You know, when everybody it was at a bar.
Right.
That was the whole thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like he wasn't being inappropriate in any way. And I just had these like real visceral reactions. So I didn't want to be around any of that. And I wound up withdrawing, and for the first time in my life, like having panic attacks and anxiety attacks, like real heavy, intense ones, to the point where I wound up at 29 going to see my general practitioner and demanding an EKG. I'd say demanding like I'm some tough guy. Like, you got it? He's like, "Yeah, I'll give you one." It was a very easy conversation.
I don't feel well.
Yeah, but I figured it was panic attacks. Yeah. I figured it was those things, but I needed to, in the moment, know that everything was okay.
Right.
And he comes back with an EKG, and he's going through it, and he's like, everything was good. He's like, "But there's this one spot here." He goes, "I think it's just a shadow, but this could indicate that you've had a heart attack at some point in time." He goes, "And even though you're out of shape, you're still really young. Everything else looks good. The possibilities of that are almost zero unless you have a history of using cocaine." Right. And at that point, I was...
you were like, define history.
Yeah. I was a recreational drug user, recreational cocaine user. And so I had to tell this guy, I'm like, "Actually, yeah, like I do have a history," and we went through it. And he goes, "Oh, well then it's possible that you've had a heart attack." So then I wound up having to have a series of tests after that, wound up being nothing. Everything was cool. And then I continued to punish my heart for like 10 more years after that. So
it's not your fault, cocaine.
Yeah. But that was my first like real experience with real heavy grief. Right. Because death as you get older, like when my mother passed away, that was hard. But she was also sick. She was sick for a long time. Right. I got to say goodbye to her. I got to hold her hand. I got to tell her all the things I loved about her. And she made the decision to go, and she did. It wasn't euthanasia, but she also was like, "I'm done. Yeah. We're done fighting this now." Right. She had wound up being pulmonary fibrosis at the end, blah, blah, blah. So that was like felt natural, although devastating. Also, it proved to me how little I learned about grief the first time when my mother died, because like I remember leaving her house with my girlfriend, and we're driving back, and I'm like, "Do you want to stop to get something to eat?" We hadn't eaten all day. And there was a restaurant near their house that we both really liked. And she said, "Yeah, that'd be great." She goes, "Why don't we just order? I'll go in and pick it up, and we'll drive back to the house and leave it there." And I'm like, "I don't got it. What are you talking about? I don't got it. Go outside. I like it fresh. I like it fresh. I like it when it's warm." So she's being very caring. Yeah. And trying to explain to me that it's not appropriate, that I'm not in the right headspace. I'm okay. Why would I listen to her? She's only the person that knows me best in the world. Right. So we sit down at the bar, and we're eating, and I just start weeping. I just start weeping, and she's like, "Nothing, no, I told you so," nothing like that. She's just like, "Why don't you go to the car? I'll get this wrapped up." Yeah. And that was, the beginning of me realizing how much I suppress emotions and grief, and how much I still do, and how much I just consume things to comfort myself during those moments. And when it wasn't alcohol, it became food or became something else, So the reality was like having to move through those steps of grief and having to talk about it and having to really adjust. Because I think now, even maybe within the past 10 years, and Tommy died 21 years ago, I think I probably only now am starting to be in a place of peace about it, and acceptance about it. Part of that is time, and also probably a bigger part of that is not hiding from it, because I wanted to hide from it. Yeah. I withdrew. Like a bunch of our closest friends all got tattoos. Every year on Tommy's birthday, we would eat tacos. We'd get together. Even if we weren't in the same town, everybody had tacos, right? Like on his birthday, like the friend group. Yeah. And so when he passed away, everybody got taco tattoos. Okay. I still don't have one. Okay. Because for me, it was just like, I can't even handle it I'm not doing that. It felt like too final. And I have a visceral memory of getting the phone call from my friend who called to tell me, this is what's happening. We're at Tampa General Hospital. You need to come.
Right.
And my buddy JD, who I was with at the Emerald, I get off the phone, and he's such a sweet guy. He drove me to TGH.
Right.
But the whole way, I kept going, this is all wrong. This didn't happen. This is bullshit. This is a mistake.
Yeah.
And like, he's trying to be calm and supportive. Everybody around me needs to be supportive, apparently. And he's like, you're going to have to start processing the fact that this probably did happen.
Right.
Like, you don't want to walk in to a group of people
and
that are living in it and telling them that it didn't happen. You can't do that. And that was very emotionally intelligent thing for him to say.
Sure.
And so yeah, my first instinct for all that stuff was just it's not happening. I'm not feeling it, and it's still my default now. Sometimes it's gotten better over time. So for me now, the takeaway from all that is like, it's okay. Let me feel this thing. Let me run through the emotion, and let me move through it and move past it. Because as I look back on how I acted during those times and how I reacted during those times, I'm also reminded of things that I would say just in normal passing life, where I'd be like, where people somebody would say, I saw this movie, it was great, it made me cry. And I would say sometimes out loud, to my embarrassment now, but always internally, a movie has never made me cry.
Right.
A movie could never make me cry.
Right.
How could you let a movie make you cry? And then I watched, 5 or 6 years ago, I watched the Anne of Green Gables series, and at the series finale, I'm just weeping. So I don't know if it's age, I don't know if it's maturity, I don't know what it is, but I spent, most of my life, probably up to my 40s, just denying my emotions, negative emotions, hiding them away,
right.
Not wanting to deal with them. My father, in a lot of ways, was a stoic.
I was going to ask, where do you think that that feeling of, because yes, I think we all, as we get older, learn, and I think the earlier you can learn this, probably the better.
Sure.
But it's okay to feel. Right.
Yeah.
It's okay to be sad. It's okay. I'm not saying you should let those feelings consume you.
No, because there's a flip side where it's also, you got to move on, Grey Gardens.
So,
what are we doing here?
But it's okay to feel those things.
Yeah,
and if
it's healthy, it's normal.
Yeah, if you're sad in a moment, it's okay to sit there and be like, I'm sad now, and that's okay, because I'll come out on the other side of that.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask, because it seemed like that seems like a learned behavior at a young age. Uh-huh. And a lot of that comes from, I'm going to assume, father figures.
Yeah.
Because this is how, especially for men, we have it that way, especially in the age that you were growing up, and then well after the age I grew up in. But that...
Yes, the milkman would come by in the morning.
But that feeling of, I'm a man, we don't have feelings.
Yeah.
Which was the reality at the time was, I'm a man, I'm not allowed to have feelings. Yeah. And those are different things, because feelings exist.
Of course.
So you think that came from the stoicness of your father?
1,000,000%.
Yeah.
So, which is way higher than 100%. That's how important I'm trying to make it out, man. So my father, I mentioned, was the son. He grew up in the Depression. Yeah. He remembers it. He remembers the end of World War II. I was just visiting with him yesterday, and he was talking about these memories he has of VJ Day. That's his life. Both of his parents were immigrants. They're both grew up on farms, with no electricity.
Sure.
My grandmother worked the farm. She was a Polish woman that worked hard as nails.
Right.
These people, they had to be to survive during those times.
Yeah.
We don't exist in that world anymore. So this is his understanding of emotion, right? His understanding of emotion is stunted, to put it mildly. When my mother passed away, he remarried a couple years later, which is great. And my mom made it very clear, your father needs to remarry. He cannot take care of himself. But he remarried somebody much younger than him, 30 years his junior, which is fine as well. They're a great match. But my dad brought her by when they were just dating to meet my sister for the first time without telling my sister that he was going to do it or calling her ahead of time. He just showed up at her work.
Oh.
She wasn't there that day.
Right.
And then my younger brother flew in to Tampa to meet her. and my dad wasn't feeling like going to the airport, so he sent her. So they met for the first time
that's
by themselves
fun.
at the airport. So that's the emotional intelligence that I was raised with from him, and I have a distinct memory of being. I say distinct memory, but then I don't remember the age, but whatever. Somewhere between 10 and 12 years old.
Sure.
My father had his first job as a lawyer. And we went with the partner of the law firm, and his son was about my age. And we go to play mini golf.
Okay.
Very normal human behavior. I'm standing behind the other kid while he's going to take his first shot.
Sure.
First shot of that hole, whatever. A very normal distance. He brings it back like he's going to drive the ball and smacks me in the face with it. Totally accidental.
Sure.
Nobody was at fault.
Sure.
But I immediately start crying because I've been hit in the face with a golf club, and I'm a child. So it's very normal behavior.
No movie can make you cry, but
reaction.
Golf clubs.
Yeah.
100% of the time.
Yeah. So he pulls me aside, and he goes, "You need to get it together. This is my boss. You're embarrassing me." And I'm like, so that's that early
that
thing
instills that
where it's
quickly.
like, this is wrong. Like this is very important for me to get my shit together here. And yeah, like I remember, I also have which is great as a comic, I have a fear of driving over bridges, which doesn't make me obsessed when I'm on the road about what's coming up around the bend.
Yeah, way to be a comic in Florida.
Yeah. And we were driving back. We're driving back from Bradenton, where my dad worked, and the new Skyway had been built, but the old Skyway hadn't been totally torn down, and the center span had been taken out. And it was at night, and my dad is a lot of things. He's also a very adventurous guy. So he pulls off the shoulder of the road, and he goes, "Let's go see if we can get up on the old bridge." Excuse me. So we get through this fence. We walk to the top of the Skyway, the old Skyway. At the top of the old Skyway, if you remember, was that grate that some bridges will have. So it's like a metal grate, and you can see all the way down.
Okay.
And he starts going, "Let's see who can get closer to the edge. Let's see who can get closer to the edge." And then he starts jumping at me, like, "I'm going to get you, I'm going to get you." Terrified.
Right.
I'm a kid. So anyways, years later, I'm talking to my therapist about it, and I go, "I got to figure this out, because this is a problem in my life."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Let's talk about it. Like, is there any triggers? Is there anything you think that maybe happened when you were younger?" And I tell him that story, and I go, "You think that could have something to do with it?" And he goes, "Yeah, I think it has everything to do with it. I think that your father threatened to throw you off the top of a bridge when you were a child. Yeah, and I think that's probably causing some issues now." But again, so it's like that was his way of joking.
Yeah.
That was his way of being silly.
He thinks he's connecting.
Yeah. And so I very much like I can't show fear in this moment.
Right.
I'm not allowed to show fear here. Like, I have to say that this is fine. I also have to think that it's funny.
Yeah.
Like, I have to think that this, not only is this not scary, I'm having a great time. This is really
fine.
Wonderful. So yeah, and I don't think none of that shit's malicious. Like,
right.
I love my dad. He was the best dad that he knew how to be.
Yeah. I think the trick for us as we get older, when we look at our parents, is I think as children we put so much on them in general because they're defining their behavior, and what they say defines what we believe is the normal behavior.
Sure, of course.
And so I think there's a place, and for most adults, the quicker we can get here, the better, is recognizing that you can revere your parents and still recognize they're flawed.
Yeah, of course.
And the sooner we can get to the recognizing they're flawed is where we can start working on our own issues, because
absolutely.
It's like, oh, I can appreciate that my dad's a good dad, but maybe when he said this, he wasn't saying it the right way, or maybe he wasn't being a good person in this moment. Still be a good dad, still not be a good person all the time type thing.
Yeah.
We just watched the live action Lilo and Stitch, and there's a line in Lilo and Stitch that says, "You're not bad, you just do bad things sometimes."
Sure.
And in general, I think but I think that is a hard thing for grown children to realize about their parents.
Absolutely.
Because I feel like when you start seeing somebody as flawed, you think that I don't love them as much anymore. But those are not.
No, they're not. No. And I went through all that after my mother passed away, because for the longest time, probably up to being around 30, and still to a certain degree, my dad is my hero. But I also would say all the time, if I can live a life half as strong or half as well as he did, I will have led a good life. I don't feel that anymore.
Sure.
But I wasn't wrong for feeling it then either. Like, he was in the military for 21 years, did 2 tours of Vietnam. He then, retired on the colonel's list out of the Army, went to law school in his mid-40s with 4 kids, and then, started his own law firm after being a lawyer for a few years. And, financially, we couldn't have felt more secure.
Right.
So there's a lot of things that he did that I'm beyond lucky for. But then when my mother passed away, I realized how integral she was to making the family work, right? Like, society's kind of having this moment where women in heterosexual relationships are talking about, I don't want to have to do the emotional work of keeping the relationship together.
Right.
I don't want to have to do the emotional work of keeping our friendship relationships together.
Right.
I think they're using some god-awful term like man-keeping or something like that, whatever they're calling it. But the idea resonates with me because when my mom, I had no idea that she did everything for the family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, my dad hasn't called me on my birthday since my mom died.
Right.
He doesn't know when my birthday is.
Right.
Like, he has an idea of it. My dad called my younger brother on his birthday. My younger brother's a Microsoft engineer. On his birthday to ask a question about his laptop, said thanks, and hung up. And it's not malicious.
Yeah.
It's not because he doesn't care.
Yeah.
My brother called me. We laughed about it because it hurts. I want to laugh with somebody about it. And so I called my dad and said, hey, you talked to Paul today? Yeah. It's his birthday, right? Oh, that's right. And then he called him back.
Right.
Because he does feel bad.
Yeah.
And like making Christmas plans and Thanksgiving plans and Father's Day plans, all that stuff fell down to my mom.
Right.
So, it was interesting to realize that, and my mom was flawed too. I'm flawed, and like you said, everybody is. It's this challenge of after my mom passed away, like, I had resentment towards my dad.
Sure.
Because I was like, he was a great caregiver, by the way. She was sick for years before she passed away, and he retired earlier. He took care of her. You couldn't have asked for a kinder, gentler husband.
Right.
Towards the end of your life. Anything she wanted, he was there for her. But then I did suffer this resentment where I'm like, you don't even know, like, my birthday, bro.
Right.
Like, what are we doing here? And then I've moved through that through a lot of conversations, like with my siblings and with my girlfriend and other friends. Certainly not you. I would never talk to you about this stuff off camera.
I don't even talk to you if there's not a show happening. So all right. So we talked about that real precipice of a hard time with your brother of a friend passing.
Well, I really went off the rails there, huh? Went all the way to my childhood, like
a little bit. I am charging you for the full hour. But so 2 questions I have on that are to get back to that are how did you see your way through to the other side of that? So at what point do you think? What are the steps you think? As you said, you were in denial. You were in denial on that grief part for a long time. So you stayed in that stage 1 of grief pretty comfortably.
Real long time. Yeah.
So what steps did you find that helps you move through those? And as you say, you're still processing it. So maybe you're not at the other side yet. Yeah.
For me, the biggest one was just acknowledging that he's gone.
Okay.
And like accepting it. Yeah. And accepting that bad things happen in the world.
Which, by the way, is literally stage 2. So you've hit 2 stages so far.
I've hit anger too. Maybe I did them out of order. I know anger's in there.
I'm not 100% sure on the stages, but I feel like I'm close to that being right.
I feel like you're close. Yeah, for sure. That's hysterical. He was a tattoo artist. He was an artist in general. He did stained glass, painting, drawing. Anyways, we had a friend that was doing comedy in our mid-20s, and he told me once, he said, his name was Matt. We're talking about it because all my friends wanted me to do comedy. Like, go do your thing. Go do comedy. And he goes, that Matt, he's a real doer. He goes and gets things done.
Right.
And he was saying that to me as a way of saying, get your shit together.
Right. You can do that.
Yeah. So, like I said, I started comedy at 34. Every time before I go up and do a set, I always say a little prayer to myself. And as part of that prayer, I thank him and amongst a couple other people. But I thank him and ask him to be with me in the moment and to find the humor and everything that happens on stage and a couple other things.
Right.
And so that constant reinforcement of acknowledging that he was an important part of my life and wishing that he could be here to see me do these things has helped tremendously.
That's good.
Participating in things like when I'm able to now going to his, because I'm in town or don't have anything else going on, going to his sister's home where they have a big birthday dinner for him every year.
Right.
Participating in those. For the first few years, I wouldn't go. Had nothing to do with them. It was my own bullshit. I made up whatever lie I told myself in my head, but it really was just grief. So participating in those moments, sharing in the joy, and sharing those stories, and no longer feeling sad that he's gone, but embracing all the memories and the happiness that we had together.
That's a real good place to get to. That's a hard place to get to, but it's a real good place to get to.
And I think for me, it was just stopping hiding from all of it.
Okay.
And just saying to myself, he's passed away. Like years ago, I did that. It's not obnoxious. I find it obnoxious because I'm emotionally stunted. Where I wrote about him on Facebook and shared a couple pictures of him and I when we were younger and talked about what he meant to me.
Yeah.
And I think that to me was also a big turning point because I don't like to share things publicly like that. Whatever. It's but it was a moment for me to do that, and I think that helped tremendously too. But
it can be cathartic. Yeah.
So it was remembering the joy and not focusing on the negative.
Right. And you're not doing that as a brag to other people, like, look how cool my friend was. You're doing it. That's how I think you see it, which is why you get annoyed with it. Yeah. But it's really, you're doing it for yourself to put that stuff somewhere.
Yeah, because I got jaded. Like when he died, we were young. 29 was young. I'm sure there's a bunch of 22-year-old. No, I'm sure there's no 22-year-olds listening to this. Never mind. But 29's young, and there were a lot of people that I would talk to for a long time after that talked about, oh man, we were so. I'm like, you guys were not close.
That is not the same.
You are co-opting the grief, and I got jaded against it.
Right.
And so I became like angry when people were expressing, and it's like, what the fuck is wrong with me? He had an impact in their life. That's awesome. Of course he did. He was a great guy. He was a great person to be around. Why wouldn't he have had an impact? So what is this shit?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's my own grief. It's my own bullshit. So being able to do that publicly and share that was wonderful.
What advice would you give 29-year-old Steve from 51? 50? 50-year-old Steve.
Thank you.
What advice would 50-year-old Steve, having been through the loss of your friend, the loss of your mother, you've gone through loss multiple times now. Yeah. What advice would you give 29-year-old Steve if you could give it now?
You got to embrace your community. Okay. 100%. You got to embrace your community. You got to have that conversation. You got to participate with the people that are close to you with your grief process. Okay. That's for me what I would say. And I was better about that when I was going through cancer. A lot of that too was, excuse me, a couple of friends in my life forcing it out of me.
That was
come on, man. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, come. We're doing this thing. We're doing that thing. Come. And you were one of them. I hate to give you a compliment, but you were always checking in with me and and asking how things were going. It probably was because of Matt, but I would imagine his guidance.
It was more because of the cancer.
But that's it. Like withdraw and hiding away is just for me perpetuates and like, dude, I think I was fucking depressed, like really deeply depressed for close to a decade after he died.
Right.
And didn't realize it. Stopped, I'm not that close to that person. I'm not going to their birthday party.
Yeah.
I'm not that close to them. I'm not doing this. I'm not participating in life.
And that's what happens, I guess, when you do shield yourself and you think pulling away is shielding yourself and I'm not going to get hurt. I'm not going to have to deal with the feelings because I'm just going to pull away from it. But if you're pulling away from it, you're not dealing with it, or you're not and you're not recognizing what's happening in your own body, in your own life, in your own psyche, and that's a danger in that. All right, next question for you. We're going to go back to food for these next two questions, then we're going to do a little wrap up.
I'm glad I could be on your food-based podcast and talk about all my bullshit.
Yeah, that's the point of this podcast. What type of person do you see enjoying your comfort food that you gave us?
Oh, anybody with taste.
Okay.
Anybody would taste.
Makers.
And look, chicken soup is ubiquitous across the world.
It is
you know what I
true.
mean? I think I have no data to back this up, but I think every culture has some sort of chicken-based soup. You know what I mean?
We don't deal with data-driven statements here.
No, of course not.
All right. And what is your guilty pleasure food, and when do you eat it?
Oh, that's a good one. With the amount of honesty I just gave about how much everything is a comfort food and how clearly I have issues with food, what's the
guilty one? What's the one that'll make us sad hearing?
Okay, all right. This is a great question. Okay, so this is real. I think this is white trash.
We'll be the
but
deciders.
I'm sure you'll agree with me. Those crescent rolls in a can.
Okay.
I think they call them croissants, but I don't think they're legally croissants. They're not from the croissant region. You take that, you unroll them, and you wrap that around a hot dog.
Sure.
And then you cook the whole thing in the oven.
Yeah.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
No, that's not. I don't even think that's guilty. I don't think you feel guilty about that at all.
No.
No, that sounds delicious.
It is delicious.
Buttery,
it's
flaky,
yeah,
hot dog.
great. Yeah.
That's great.
What else could? I love anchovies, but I don't think that's guilty pleasure.
No, I mean,
is there a guilty pleasure for like something you eat that you're ashamed of?
Me?
No, like is that what the question really is? Like,
it's something like on the last
because I'll shame eat
on the last episode.
Like I'll shame eat fast food, and I'm like, I'm not getting out of the car. I'll throw this bag away at the gas station. I'm not coming to the house with it.
And that's a good answer.
Also, an addictive addict's behavior.
Yeah, that's a healthy reaction to food. I was going to tell you this fun anecdote just to go back on. Sometimes people force you to deal with loss.
Yeah.
I think you'll appreciate this.
Those people love you, but you get so angry when it's happening.
And sometimes
let me deal with it my own way.
Sometimes they don't realize. This is a fun story from my family. Was my grandfather passed away. He was a step grandfather, but he was my mom's parents divorced when she was young, so they remarried early. I've always had 3 sets of grandparents. It's just how I grew up. And
because you're blessed.
Because blessed.
You're highly favored, blessed.
Yeah. And so anyway, when he passed away, when Pop-Up John passed away, we went up and tried to help my grandmother with all the funerals and things, and I was a freshman in college at the time. So we go up, and this is in Wilmington, Delaware, so we're not far outside of New York City, and we kind of turned it into a bit of a vacation funeral time.
Sure.
So in trying to help my grandmother that week, we decide we're going to do a couple things to distract her from all the things that are going on.
That's fair.
And mind you, he had been sick. He has Alzheimer's. It was a degenerative.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. So in the trying to help her, my brother took her to go see a movie. And we as a family took her into the city to go see a show on Broadway. After doing both of these very thoughtful things, my grandmother said, please stop trying to help me. Because my brother took her to go see What Dreams May Come.
Oh, good.
Which is the Robin Williams Cuba Gooding Jr.
About loss.
Yep, about the loss of your loved one and going through the depths of hell to get them. And then we took her to go see Miss Saigon on Broadway.
Yeah.
And in which both of those things, well-intentioned.
Of course.
And maybe not understanding what the other one had taken her to go see.
Right.
Compiled to her saying, please stop helping.
You are killing me.
Yes, you are literally making me sadder.
You're dragging me through my grief.
Yes.
Here's a mirror. Come look at it.
So sometimes we don't help when we try.
No, like when my buddy Tommy passed away, he was stabbed to death, and I was with his wife, whatever it was, a week or two later, somewhere in that range, and we've been talking all night. And she goes, "Let's just put a movie on. I just want to." And, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So I grab a movie, put it in, and I chose Goodfellas, which starts with a scene where the trunk opens up and they just stab this dude a bunch of times. We put something else on pretty quickly.
It's a quick pause.
Yeah.
You know what? Second thought.
Yeah. Maybe not one of the most violent movies.
Yeah. All right. Well, we actually just went over an hour. So I'm going to go ahead. We'll call this done of episode 2. I want to thank Mr. Steve Miller for being a part of this.
Oh, the pleasure's all
Where can the people find you online?
Sure. I'm Steve Miller 813 everywhere.
Okay.
Instagram, Facebook, website. That's about it for me. Oh, and TikTok. Yeah, and I don't do social media much, which is a real pain in the ass.
Yeah, you're real horrible on social media.
Yeah, I got to get back to it. Like,
I'm excited to put this out, and then 2 months later, you to see it. That's what I'm excited about.
Comic that doesn't like social media. Careers going places.
People should absolutely look up Steve Miller. He's very funny. He's one of my dear friends. I'm so happy you were able to do this. I loved finding out more about you. I understand you more now. And, I actually feel for you.
Nice. I've always felt for you.
My greatest fear of doing this podcast is taking the empathy into my everyday life. I'm very afraid that's just going to soak in.
I don't think that's going to happen.
You're not worried about that?
Yeah, I think you have a veneer of autism that'll keep you from, let's cut that out.
Well, that's fair enough. I don't see anything being cut out from any of these episodes. All right. I'm very excited to try your mom's stew at some point. And I can't wait to try cooking it. And that'll be a separate video I'll be doing of those. And if you don't mind, as we finish this episode, if you will go ahead and sing the theme song with me, and we'll finish up with the outro.
Let's do it.
All right. So
also, I'm sorry, real quick, can I get one plug in?
Absolutely.
I'm launching my podcast in a couple of weeks. It's called Praise the Lard. It's about Southern comfort. It's about Southern cuisine. And
have you been thinking this whole hour?
From the moment that you first asked if I wanted to do this.
Praise the Lord. I don't hate it. All right,
so we're singing the theme song.
The theme song. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
1, 2, 3. Sometimes life can make you shudder. Don't you worry, because it gets better. Nailed it. Thank you, everybody.